Hey, how's it going? It's Craig. I'm out in the garage and today we're going to take a look at this Hori fighting stick. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is a bit of a project. It's been sent in to me by Scott from Sega Saturn Lad. Check out his YouTube channel. There's lots of great videos, lots of boot sale pickups and things like that on there as well, which is pretty cool. I don't know where Scott got this from, but he's asked me to convert this Sega Saturn connection for this Hori fighting stick into an original Xbox. So he's got a couple of emulators and things running on an original Xbox, and he wants this converted so we can use it as like an arcade fighting stick and things on it. The system itself is pretty worn in some cases. Other parts of it is quite nice. So the back of it is a bit rusty and things, so we're going to need to work on that. The front of it has got a bit of surface rust on this main panel as well. But the buttons are all nice, they move freely, they're nice and clicky, and then the joystick, oh lovely, a beautiful sounding joystick. So these sticks are really nice. I've never owned one myself, but I've always fancied buying a Hori fighting stick for one of my systems, or maybe even converting it and putting a Raspberry Pi or something inside there, but down the line I'll do that. For now we're going to work on this with Scott. I've got a couple of ideas, I've ordered a couple of parts in. The first thing I need to do is strip it down, find out what's inside of it so we can see how we're going to wire in the original Xbox control pad PCB into this system, wire up all the buttons, wire up the joystick. I've got a couple of extra buttons in mind as well, and a couple of little things just to make it look really nice. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. I'll do a quick overview of it on a better lighting so you can see it properly, and then we'll do a strip down quick montage and then get right into building into a new system. Cool, catch you in a sec. Okay, so this is the arcade stick. So as I said, it's got some surface rust on the top of it. Obviously this is a metal plate. I don't know where this has been stored or anything else, but it's got some surface rust coming through. I don't know whether that's common on these. A little bit of scratching up here, and the ball of the joystick has got scratches and things, and the stick of it itself, if I can get that into light, is quite rusty as well. So we're going to strip that down and take a look at everything. This cable we're not going to need, that's the Sega Saturn connection. We can pretty much cut that off and get rid of all the cable because we're going to use new cables for this. First thing I want to do is find a screwdriver bit that I can take these screws out of. So these are they're like a star screw, and then I think underneath, yeah, there's 6 Phillips screws underneath. So I'll rip all these screws out, take it all apart, strip it down to its bare bones as much as I can, and then that's the basis for me to start working on it and cleaning it all up. I'm going to need to get all this off with a sander and things just to clean it all up, and then we'll probably primer it and then spray it or something at the end. So cool, so let's strip it down, take a look, and we'll go from there. Okay, so a little bit of an edit in here. I left these on originally, and they wouldn't fit. When I put the cover on, it wouldn't fit, obviously, because it's too big. So I ended up desoldering this and getting rid of it. But I left basically the joystick, thinking that it was just spinning constantly because there was no resistance on it. So I measured the resistance across the pots on here, and it came out around between 7 or 8 kilograms, maybe 9 kilo ohms on some of them. So I just soldered in a couple of 10 kilo ohm resistors in here, two there, two there, two there, two down here, and two underneath these wires here. So just soldered all that in, put it all back together, and it's working fine now. So yeah, next thing to do is just test it on some apps. So I'll test it on an app for the Xbox, which is a control pad tester, and then we'll test it on MAME and see how it works. Cool. Okay, so this is the piece of plastic that we took out of the center part of the joystick. So this had a couple of switches on there for rapid fire, I think it was, and then one button on there, like a start button or something. So I infilled it with, I got the wife to infill it with some resin. So I mixed it like a black and a green resin, filled it in, put some like supports in the back of it so it didn't just pour through. But you can see it dipped in a couple of places here. It's left the indentations there, and when I drilled the hole for the second button, rather messily, the buttons didn't fit through because it's so thick on the back and everything. Even if I cut these off, it still would have been really thick, the size of the resin, so the buttons wouldn't have fitted through there. So that was a bit of a failure. So we can't use that original plate on there. That's a bit of a failed piece now. So I started off with doing some 3D design. So I'll show you the 3D layout side design. So first one is just a basic clip, and I printed that out onto, this is called PETG, which is a stronger kind of filament for the 3D printer, but it's a bit messy, and there's bubbles in it and the text just looks messy. It should have had some clips on there, so each side should have had a clip, but the clips just fell off and just didn't work at all on that. So I did it on PETG first, adjusted the design, did it again. This one's a bit neater, but it's still, you can see these lines going down here which look really messy. Hori logo is looking pretty cool, but this one, the clips fell off of that one as well, so that didn't work. These all take about between 2 and 4 hours to print as well, so you'll see how many versions I've gone through, and this has been the longest part of this process, but it's worth it hopefully in the end when we get to the end one. Next one is another print, I think a slightly different version. This one's got the clips still on the side. It's also got, this is like the supports you put on when you're doing a 3D print. It supports it and lifts it up into the air while you're doing more delicate pieces underneath. So if I was to pull all this off, that clip's definitely going to fall off. So another failed one basically. Getting a bit closer. Bit of a nicer quality print on this one. No lines on it, as in big vertical lines. This one's got vertical lines going all the way down. This one's got your usual 3D printed texture to it, which is fine, and it's a nice quality. The Hori logo looks pretty cool on it. And I started getting into this kind of almost latch type approach, where each side of the piece I put like a border further down, and then each side of it has got this little latch. But first of all I only gave it 1mm, which was way too small. Printed that out, no good. Next one I printed out, I cut the corners out of it, and I did 4 pieces, but I made these side bits 4mm down now for that latch, which is cool. This is going to be hard to show on the green. 4mm down, which is cool. The holes are the right size, the Hori logo looks cool, but I made these panels way too thin. So look, you can, like he says, you can bend it in. It used to be strong, but you can see how they're just snapping off, and it's no good. So that's not going to be any good, and that's just falling apart. But getting closer with that one. So that's a nice green panel. Another one. So this one is the next version after that. So I've left the corners out again. I've gone down 2mm I think for this one. These are thicker supports on the side, so all looking good. but the 2mm wasn't enough. It needed to be 4mm. Got the calipers out and measured it. It needed to be 4mm. So hopefully this is the final one, and this is looking really nice now. So the print quality on the Hori logo is pretty cool, if that focuses. I've left 4mm gap for these little notch things on the sides, and I've made these thicker so they won't snap off as easy. So hopefully I can push this into place. I've got a couple of buttons which are here, so these buttons will go through inside of this, screw into the top of the little bolt, and they should look pretty nice with ready for the start and select on the top of this panel. So just got to try and fit it onto the joystick now, and then once that's all done, just got to wire those couple of wires in, and hopefully we're done then and we can test it out on a console. So yeah, let's get it set. Hopefully, let's see if this fits in. Fingers crossed it does, otherwise I'm going to be back doing another print. But hopefully this fits in and we can get it all set up and running over the next couple of hours. Cool. Okay, so here's our panel. It's going to fit into here, hopefully. It's going to take a little bit of persuading to get in there, because I've measured it really quite tight with the calipers, so I've measured it pretty much bang on. What I didn't want to do is measure it, make it too big and it be like bouncing around in here in the future, or even coming out, which would be even worse. So hopefully I can persuade these little things to get inside and we'll be good. Cool, that looks really good. I'm really happy with that, and it's solid in there. That is pretty much spot on, and it just fits next to that button. Alexa, stop. Bloody thing. Yeah, so let's try these buttons in here now. Okay, they're not tight, but look at that. That looks really good. So it's out of your way when you're playing on the game. So when you're playing, your hands are up here, but you've got your start and select buttons there now. That is looking really cool. I'm really happy with that. Hopefully Scott will be chuffed with it too, but that's looking really good. So this is totally custom now. That panel in there is extra, but you could always drill extra holes in there and put more buttons in if you wanted to, but for now that's looking really good. Okay, so it's looking pretty awesome. Really chuffed with how it's come out. Scott only sent it to me to have the inners sorted and changed out with an Xbox pad, and I've taken it hopefully a little bit further for him, and hopefully he appreciates it. I've not really messaged him any pictures or progress on it at all. So it's been a few weeks. I've had this really bad chest infection and I've been coughing my way through work and everything else. Actually, I've had some time off work for once, which I don't really do. But everything's looking good. That colour flip vinyl on there, hopefully you can see the colours in there, and it colour flips from red to green. It's like a 4D textured carbon fibre vinyl. I don't know what the fourth dimension of it is, but it takes you into another realm, no doubt. But the buttons are cool, the buttons are all soldered in, but it's all looking good. So I can't see why. We've got 8 buttons up here, all mappable, and then we've got the start and select down here that are mappable as well. And then our lovely joystick on the top. Woo, yeah, love it. So really nice joystick now. The back of it, very cool retro style 80s fade. I love it, but I did mess up a little bit, I have to be honest. I sprayed it, done it all, finished it all off, and then I wrapped the cable around it, and it's left a little bit of a mark. Let's see if I can show you on camera now without getting it stuck too much. Yeah, there's a bit of a mark around there somewhere. It's not bad, and it is handmade, and as I said, Scott only wanted me to do the control pad mod on it, so hopefully he appreciates the mod that I've done to this and the style and everything else I've done for it. I think it looks really good. Just let me know in the comments what you're thinking on it, what colour theme you'd have gone for. I've learned a lot on there about the vinyl wrapping and things. It came out nice. I've done it with the heat gun and things, but I think next time I'll buy a bigger sheet so I can wrap it further around and give it more grip, because there's a couple of things where I think it's just felt a little bit tight, where I would like to have wrapped it a little bit neater. But even just using the heat gun on it and pushing it into those screw holes was pretty cool. So yeah, really chuffed with it all. Hopefully you enjoy that. I'm not going to be able to show any test footage unless I get a maimed Xbox up while I'm doing the edit, and then I'll put a bit of footage on in a second. But if not, this is going to go back to Scott, His link will be in the description down below. Keep an eye on his channel. Hopefully he'll do a video on this and show it working, and we'll go from there. Cool. Thank you for watching. Drop us a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know what you're up to. I've got a couple of other projects in the future. I've got a week where I'm going away to Gran Canaria. Fingers crossed. We're now I can't even remember. It sounds like a Transformer. Omnivariant version of COVID. That's not it. And I'm meant to be flying out to Gran Canaria next week with my mates for a bike trip. So fingers crossed that goes ahead. All looking good so far. So yeah, I'll be off for YouTube for another week or two. Then when I get back, I got a really cool Nintendo to work on for Nintendo Arcade. One of the earliest models of console. Going to do an AV mod on that because it's RF at the moment. So we're going to sort that out. I've got loads of other things to be getting on with. So if you're not subscribed already, drop us a subscription down below. It costs nothing, and you just click that little button. All good. Alright then, cool. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Okay, quick footage of it showing it working. I can't figure out how to map the buttons on this, and for some reason my Double Dragon is showing up on my Xbox. It's black and white, but there we go. But I can punch, I can kick, I can jump, and I can move around nice and freely. I can add more credits, and then start is on that one. So, oh, there we go. Get beaten up. Cool.